Samsung look is exactly like.
Don't forget your microphones. I just did. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And good evening to all of you. The TV camera doesn't realize there's 1,000 people in here, you know. So the louder you say good evening, the happier I'll be. We've got our regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Prospect Heights held on Monday, September 28, 2015 at 6:32 p.m. The location is Council Chambers in Prospect Heights City Hall at 8 North Elmhurst Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois, with Mayor Nicholas J. Helmer presiding. That's me. So let's have a roll call, please.
Alderman Messer?
Here.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Here.
Alderman Williamson?
He is absent by previous notification.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Here.
Alderman Derwin?
Here.
Okay, and also present, we've got,
Let them do their own there.
oh, okay.
Steve Kataya, Director of Public Works.
Stephanie Hannon, Finance Director.
Peter Falcone, Assistant to the City Administrator.
Karen Schulteis, Deputy Clerk.
Dan Peterson, Director of Building and Development.
Wendy Morgan, City Clerk.
Joe Wade, City Administrator.
Mike Zimmerman, City Attorney.
Jamie Dunn, Chief of Police.
Thank you. You know, Peter Falcone, I think this is our first meeting for you, is that correct? So official welcome. Thank you for joining the team, and you will be working 10 hours a day. That's minimum.
That's it?
That's minimum at the moment, right? Thank you all for attending. Did we get everyone? Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. Alderman Ludwigson, please. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to ask Pastor Rod Kruger of our Redeemer Lutheran Church to offer the invocation. Thank you for attending this evening.
Mr. Mayor, you're welcome, and Mayor Helmer and members of the council, thank you for the invitation. As you wish, please join me in a word of prayer. Lord Jesus, we thank and praise you for the day that you've given to us, and we thank you for the gift of life that we have in the midst of all that you've created. We ask you especially this evening to bless and keep Mayor Helmer and the City Council, enable them to act with fairness and justice in mind, that all the residents of Prospect Heights might live in peace and safety. Lord, these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of minutes. September 16, 2015, City Council Special Workshop Meeting minutes, additions, deletions, or anything else you want to add. Let's have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
And now for the additions, deletions, or anything else you want to add. If not, we'll take a roll call for approval, please.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Aye.
Alderman Derwin?
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Aye.
Alderman Messer?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item 6, proclamation, congratulatory resolutions, and awards. First is the proclamation in support of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, presented by Police Chief Jamie Dunn. Apparently I have the presentation here, and I'll bring it down to you. Slide your name on the agenda, but maybe we should do it then.
Thank you. I'll be happy to read it.
Thank you.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October 2015.
whereas violence against women and children continues to be a prevalent problem in the northwest suburbs, and whereas the problem of domestic violence affects all Illinois citizens, being not confined to any group of people, but crossing all economic, gender, racial, and societal barriers, exacerbated by societal indifference, and whereas the crime of domestic violence violates the privacy, dignity, security, and humanity of individuals throughout the systematic physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse, and whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, affecting families, children, and society as a whole, and whereas, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men become victims of physical violence by an intimate partner, and whereas over 30,000 order of protections per year are written in Cook County, and whereas residents are encouraged to learn more about the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence's campaign to take a stand against domestic violence, and the Chicago Says No More campaign, and to seek out local educational information and resources that are available at a website, www.endallabuse.org. Whereas it is fitting to set aside a special time to bring this issue to the attention of the residents of the city of Prospect Heights, so we can all become better informed and involved in local programs to end the cycle of violence. Now therefore, I, Nicholas J. Helmer, Mayor of Prospect Heights, do hereby proclaim October 2015 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Prospect Heights, and do hereby call upon the citizens, government agencies, business leaders, hospitals, healthcare providers, schools, public and private institutions to promote public awareness of domestic violence issues, dated this September 28, 2015. Thank you for doing this for us, Mayor. If anybody needs assistance in this area, please feel free to contact our police department here. We have social workers, and we have many places and references that we can provide people and deal with any situation that may be presenting a problem for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation and acknowledgement of the service of Tom Weedman in the PZBA, presented by none other than myself. Tom, come on up here where we can see you. And, you know, I'd like to ask you if you could tell us how long you've been in service for the city. I know you were on the fire commission, and you probably did a few other things. You want to explain to the council who you are and what you've accomplished for us on our behalf?
Sure. I've been a member of the Plan and Zoning Board of Appeals for 19 years. I spent 6 years as a trustee on the fire department and have volunteered my time at numerous functions, golf outings, Summerfest, and the like. So I've enjoyed it. I've had an opportunity to voice my opinion for 19 years related to the plan and zoning of this community, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, you're a real great guy. I'd like you to stay around one more month, as I've asked you to, on the PZBA, because we're still waiting for the appointment that will replace you to show up. So
I'll do it.
There's some issues, and they'll all be solved this month. So if you would stay, I would appreciate it. Let me just read this to us. A certificate from the city of Prospect Heights honoring service to the city and its residents, awarded to Tom Weedman. Be it proclaimed that on this 28th day of September 2015, the city of Prospect Heights honors and thanks Tom Weedman for his dedicated service on the Plan Commission and the PZBA since 1996. The city of Prospect Heights and its residents hereby show their gratitude and commend Mr. Weedman for his service to our community. Proclaimed by the mayor and this city council to honor you, Tom, and I'm pleased to be able to be part of the ceremony.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
I also have, be careful, it's ticking.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Item 7, appointments and confirmations. We have none, I don't think. that right?
No.
Citizens' concerns and comments regarding agenda items. Clerk, anything for us?
I have not received any.
All right, thank you. Staff and elected official reports. Treasurer's report, first quarter 2015-16. Finance Director Hannon, please.
The city is currently $669,000 behind last year net income due to a $315,000 error by the state of Illinois. They prepaid our telecommunications tax without realizing it, so it was all done in 1 month. The state paid the total revenue for the year in 1 month, and the state remedies to have the city keep the money, and then we'll just offset it every month. So that's why, on a year-to-date basis, we're ahead of schedule. The interfund transfers from the tour district were prepared in August to coincide with the first payment of the gun range. Last year, they were done in July. So that is one of the variances. It's basically a timing of revenue and will not have an impact on the year-end variance related to the tourism district. The city is currently $119,429 ahead of budget due to the continued efforts and collections related to the debt recovery program. We did not budget this amount in our budget, so we're $68,000 ahead of budget because we collected that much from our debt recovery program. Administrative expenses were better than budget due to a lack in hiring of a new assistant city administrator and timing of professional service invoices. The city is expected to be at budget levels for 15-16. That's the budget, that's the
All right, thank
treasurer's
you.
report.
City Clerk, Wendy Morgan Adams.
I just want to report that with respect to the Water Committee, that the surveys are in the process of being printed right now, and they should be going out to residents within the next few weeks with instructions for residents to complete them and either email them. There'll be a dedicated fax line that they can fax them back, mail them back, or there'll be a drop box at City Hall. So we're all looking forward to getting the results of those surveys, and I thank everyone for cooperation in this regard.
Thank you. City Alderman Messer,
I have no report.
Ward 1. City Alderman Rosenthal, Ward 2.
I will report on just briefly, the website redesign project is underway. We had our first meeting, the project team had their first meeting on Friday. We went through the schematic design that I presented at the workshop, also the RFP and the project work program. We made some modifications and finalized the schematic design. All of you received copies of that update. The RFP, request for proposal, was finalized, and the project work program, which will be the basis of our reporting progress as we go forward, has also been updated, and I sent copies to all of you. Our next meeting is scheduled with the current vendor to review what we have. I believe that's October 15th, and we're going forward with that. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them. As far as things within Ward 2, the matter with the sidewalks in Rob Roy is moving along and will be settled. My understanding that it's going to be on our agenda at the next meeting. And that's about it.
Thank you. Ward 4, Alderman Ludwigson, please.
Yes, I'd like to bring something up about the warrants, just so that we don't have to discuss it when it comes up. But in the past, we used to get a little memo authorizing the approval for payments for the larger projects so that we knew when something was done, complete. The former city engineer used to do that. But we didn't get, there was, in this report, there was a release for payment for, there were two things that were large projects. Glenbrook? Yeah. So, yeah, just some, yeah. So maybe you can let them know, or however we go about doing that, because otherwise my fear is something goes from accounts payable to the council, and I don't know what the controls are for to make sure that.
What happens is, the engineer will send the email to Steve Kataya, if it's his project, then to Joe. Then, once it's approved by him, it comes to me. I then give it to Kim. She will print it off, then Joe signs it, I review it, and then it goes in. So basically, 5 people review it before it goes. And that's our process for everything. There's at least 3 people who sign off.
I guess,
But it's no problem.
right, it's probably more for me so that I know that, you know, the punch list is done. It tells us that if we're releasing retention, that we've done everything that we're supposed to do.
One of them was released to retention, the other one was not.
Okay.
But do you want all of them as their bigger projects?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about $10,000, $20,000
No, the bigger
projects. I'm
projects.
talking about the street repairs or the drainage.
Yep, no problem.
Repairs.
We can definitely include that as part of
Okay.
it.
Please remember to put your microphones on when you're speaking.
That's it, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Alderman Derwin, Ward 5.
I have one thing. I've been getting a couple calls lately about airport noise being on the increase. And I was wondering if there is any official site or something that people can send their complaints to the airport.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Yeah, there is a noise prevention or control committee that recently formed that's had its first meeting, and that's who could go to. The individual can send that to us, or I'm on that committee representing Prospect Heights, and so I'd be happy to.
Can we send it directly to your, just your normal mailbox?
To the Prospect Heights mailbox.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then just let them know, okay.
And I'll take it from there.
Okay, I
Mr.
will do
Mayor?
that.
Yes,
That's it.
sir.
On the airport's website, there's a noise complaint hotline, and I think it's, if you want to complain about a specific, you know, plane that you hear, it's good to call that, because then you're getting the time down in the day, so
Okay.
they can figure out which plane it actually was. But there is a phone number on the front page of the website.
I'll let them know. Thanks.
Treasurer Tibbetts, please.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I just have 2 very short things. It's very encouraging, the work that Steve Skeeber's doing. He is in the process of receiving a letter of intent for the corner, what we call the Social Security building, and that is to be developed, building raised and new building put up. And at this moment, I can't disclose, because I've been asked not to, who the user will be, but in the next 2 weeks, we will know, and we will be able to let you know. The Fairbridge Inn is under contract, and that's great news. It's our vacant 140-room hotel at the center of the airport on Milwaukee Avenue. That would be wonderful. We've not been able to, obviously, collect sales tax, and that's one of our big issues on how we run the city with the money we receive from that. Also, we have, excuse me, an organic cafe under discussion on the corner here, next to Deli for You. So that would be a nice adder if that one comes through. The other 2 looks like they're going to happen. Cafe is just in the starting process now. Moving on to consent agenda relating to items B, C, D, E, F, and G. Under the consent agenda, a motion to approve.
So move.
Second, please.
Second.
Mayor, one clarification on item B.
Yes, sir.
The date of the approval of the semi-annual minutes should be through July 30, 2015, not through August 24. So the minutes should reflect that that was revised here at the meeting.
All right. So we've got that for you, Karen, I believe, to make it happen. Thank you. A roll call, please.
Alderman Derwin?
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Aye.
Alderman Messer?
Aye.
The consent agenda is hereby approved by a vote of 4-0. Under new business, I'm going to squeeze in George Nixon, who missed his call regarding agenda matters. And if you would step to the microphone, identify yourself, and take it from there.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I live in the Quincy Park area. Well, I should state my name is George Nixon. I live in the Quincy Park area, Prospect Heights, 1108 Cove Drive, Prospect Heights, Illinois, 60070. That's where I live. We understand that there was a trucking company up in, of the, with the road there, the side road there, that's going to be there. And I've got some of the folks where I live at, my area, we're in the northern part, not quite the farther north, we're in the northern part there. And a couple things we're concerned about, and whether these, whether this trucking company, if it does come in, whether it'll be constantly going in and out, running their vehicles, maybe adding pollution of diesel fuel in the air, and so again, just some concerned residents here on the east side of us here, Prospect Heights. And again, we're just really concerned about that because I say, I think business is good for us and we need to look for it, but also in the same time, we need to look for the concerns of the residents as well. Because if, you know, you can throw all the business you want to put in, but if it's going to affect the lifestyle, the individuals as they live in these particular communities, it could be a detriment. I'm not saying totally, but it could be. So again, we'll just bring that to you, Mr. Mayor and the City Council, and I hope that you would consider, again, it's not that we're against business, but we're concerned about the noise and also with the if there's fumes from the vehicles of those trucks that'll be running, however long they'll be running for. And that's some of our concerns that we have there, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you for attending this evening. It's good to see someone from Quincy. Haven't seen you in a long time, George. Thank you. Any other new business, clerk, anything?
I've not received anything.
All right, approval of bills. This would be our, I've got it a little bit back. Where's the warrant process? And that is you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, the total expenses, $249,830.83. 9/4/15 payroll, $140,243.44. Police pension fund, as of September 2015, $26,245.01, and total warrants in the amount of $416,319.28.
All right, motion to approve as presented.
I motion.
Second, please.
Second?
Thank you. Discussion, anyone? There being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Messer.
Aye.
Alderman Derwin.
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Item 13, a resolution directing the sale of the property commonly known as 2529 East Piper Road, RESR-15-14. Counselor, could you explain the resolution, please?
Sure, Mayor. As some members of the council may be aware, for us to sell surplus property is a two-step process. The first step is to adopt a resolution declaring it surplus and directing that the resolution be published in the paper. The resolution also references an appraisal on file for the public to inspect if it wishes. The resolution requires 3 votes to pass. All that does is authorize the mayor and the staff to begin the process of selling the property. If there is a proposal, if there's a contract, if there's any sort of deal to be had, that must be approved by the council separately at a future meeting, and that requires 4 votes of the council.
Motion to approve, please.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is exactly, I forget your name, I'm sorry, what you were talking about before. That's what this is about. Just to be transparent about it, it talks about selling the property, but this is something that has been discussed at length at previous meetings. It's the best known secret as to who it is that wants to buy it and what they want to do with it. So I would suggest that the residents there get involved now, because this horse is out of the gate. This isn't something that we're just deciding it's surplus, let's get rid of it like you would a vehicle. This is something that's got legs and is pretty far down the, in my opinion, down the stretch here. There were things that were promised initially with it in regards to how the trucks would come and go from the property. It's already been changed. Originally, they were never going to go down Piper, they were never going to go down Wolf, they would have to go off of frontage Palatine. That's changed, things are, it's a very fluid situation, so I would suggest that you guys stay involved, because it's going to go quick. I'm opposed to it, I don't like it, I don't think it's a good use for that. If I had to list 100 uses for that property, this wouldn't even make number 350, so that's why I don't like it. I'm not sure that we don't need to sell it. We don't need to sell the property. It is surplus in that we're not using it. But if we were to amend our budget and use it, it's about $700,000 or $800,000 out of our surplus, out of our $12 million of reserve. The property would be free and clear. It already is free and clear to us, so we wouldn't have to sell it. So right now, in my opinion, the push to sell this is not a, it's not a valid reason to, because it's kind of being sold because a note is coming due in regards to the property. And, you know, it's kind of like a false pressure, and we're taking the first thing that comes to us here, and I like it. I know it's been for sale for a long time. I've had a few offers that have come and gone on it, but this is not a good one. So I will be voting no. Thank you.
Can I add something?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
One of the things that you did mention, George, that a trucking company was coming in, it's already there. There is a trucking company that basically, as of tonight, I saw about 30 to 50 semis out there, which is exactly why I talked to you the other day. I said, do you hear noise now? Do you see pollution now? You know, these are the things that I was wondering. I was going to ask the chief over there, have you issued any tickets to any trucks over there?
No.
So they are already doing this. There's at least, I think, 5 companies in that trucking facility right now. Over the weekend, there were more trucks in there. Sunday, when I went by there was a lot more trucks in there. As I went by today, what happens, they pull out and they park their cars in the spot where they were. So it basically houses about 25 to 50 trucks right now, and many of it, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, are parked on the airport property right there. They rent that property over there. So it's actually going on right now. I have never seen a truck come down Piper Lane at all, either coming in from Wolf Road into the trucking facility or anything going east, which would be going into towards River, and it would be into Laura's ward over here. I've never seen any of that happen, so I just wanted to clarify that there is a trucking company already in there. They've been in there for a while. They are already doing things like this, and I think there's at least 5 companies now currently there operating out of that facility. And that's why I asked you, if you haven't heard anything right now, I was wondering what? I mean, the only thing I've heard going down there is the planes still.
It was just I know there was some of the trucks were there. I've been down there myself also too, and I know sometimes there's only a few. I know sometimes you're right, Dave. Sometimes it could be a whole lot of, you know. But again, as concerned about that was how they're going to operate, how they're going to manipulate the trucks, going in and out, the running, the fumes of the vehicles. There's a lot of our concern that we really were concerned about, especially us in the northeast corner there at Quincy Park.
All right, Alderman Messer? Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Rosenthal?
Just a little bit of clarification. I had Stephanie Hannon provide a financial analysis of what the scenario would be for us to retire the debt, what we would have left at that point, how we would go about what we would have left, and if we sold the property, what we would get, and what our financial condition would be at that point. Our financial condition, if we retire the debt as it sits now, and the debt, Stephanie can give you the exact numbers, would be if we make a determination to retire the debt, we're going to be down to an unrestricted reserve access reserve funds, unrestricted, of $153,000. Now, the budget for this city is about 12 million, I think, in round numbers. Am I right, Stephanie? Okay. So you can do the math yourself to, a prudent approach would be, is for us as a city to have anywhere from 4 to 6 months reserve in case of an emergency. $153,000 doesn't even come close to that. However, with the sale of the property, we would be in a situation that we could have a minimum of $3.2 million in reserve and possibly as much as $4.4 million in reserve for doing things that the city wants and the citizens want to have done. So it makes financial sense as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to comment.
Well,
on that.
let me just, if
Yeah,
I
sure,
could,
go ahead.
clarify this. This is not a discussion of a specific use. This is a discussion to approve a resolution to offer the property for sale. Why are we getting into details when
Because
that's not the agenda matter?
Mr. Mayor, the property's been for sale, it's been posted on the window.
It's not an agenda matter, sir.
The property's been for sale, it's been posted on our,
All
I
right,
think it's on our
you're
website.
You're welcome to have it your way,
window.
but you're off base. Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. As far as the reserves go, I hate to disagree with you, Alderman Rosenthal. I've been here 12 years. I've been watching reserves go from zero negative to almost having to do tax anticipation warrants to where we are today. Right now, in round numbers, we have about $12 million in reserves. Some of it is for capital improvements. We started a program where we put money aside every year so we don't have to borrow money to fix roads in the future. But we have about $12 million in the bank right now. Once we pay this off, which our budget this year included over $2 million to help pay off this note, once we pay off the entire note, we'll still have $8 million of money. The reserve that Alderman Rosenthal is talking about is an unrestricted reserve, if you will, the money in your pocket when you go outside, okay? We still have, and we're required by ordinance to have, I think it's 2 different 3-month reserves or something. So we have about 6 months worth of reserves set aside already that we can't touch. We have about $5 million or $4.5 million in capital improvement money set aside, just by our own doing, putting the money aside to say, let's not touch this until we have to make an improvement. So the idea that we go down to $100,000 is just, it's off base, and I would love to, I'd asked the finance director for the same report, and at that time, that unrestricted number was closer to 800,000. I don't know how it went down to 100. But that's what it was when we did it before, too.
That's based on taking the April 30th numbers versus the August numbers, and then you take the 2 million. I don't know if we want to get into the detail. But
No, I don't think, it's a matter of going from 12 million to 8 or 12 million to 8.2, so it's not as if we don't do this, we don't have any money. That could be further from the truth. So my opinion, this is a sale. We're declaring this surplus, to get to the mayor's point, to talk about why this ordinance that we're talking about, we're declaring it surplus in order to make this deal happen. It's not that we have to get rid of the land. We've had it for a long time. We're in a financial position now where we could own this land outright, which we do. Right now, the loan is not tied to the property. It's not like it's not a mortgage. Although we talk about the money we owe versus the title of the land together all the time, like it is a mortgage, it isn't. But I would just, ask the questions as far as the trucks not coming down Piper Lane. He's correct, because the property they're leasing from the airport, they don't have to, they go down frontage. In the agreement we just got, or one of the correspondence we just received from the trucking company talks about them using Wolf Road to Piper Lane to come down there. So just ask the questions. It's important to know what you're going to get, because once you have it, it's there forever. It's never going to go away. So,
Well, if I could, you obviated the fact that it is not encumbered. However, the city is encumbered for the money. So we owe the money, whether it has anything to do with the land or not. Certainly, how do you anticipate, after spending $100,000 on a comprehensive plan and it being set aside, nobody even talks about it anymore, where's the money gonna come from to redevelop the city that we just spent $100,000 on for people to give us advice and suggestions? Where's that money come from? In other words, the $8 million may sound like a lot of money. It isn't. It's gonna get eaten up as quick as you can blink an eye. Expenses increase automatically. You can't control expenses for the most part. Income does not go up automatically onto your money for future needs. And if we don't do that and retain a piece of worthless land, 10 years ago, I walked in and they said, here, and I think you were part of the council, we gotta sell that land. We're stuck with that piece of crap. Well, we've been stuck with it for 10 years now. All we're asking for now is a resolution directing the sale of the property. The council approves the sale, not the resolution. So let's see what's out there. We have one I consider a very good offer, absolutely. I've said that many times. We have that. But what are we to do when the Rauner plan kicks in and takes money away from us? How are we to develop our city according to plan that we commissioned? And we told in good faith, we want $100,000 so we can study this. People gave us $100,000. There are a lot of people that believe that this city is still in the throes of 1932. Some people think that way. Well, it's not. It's a city that has made tremendous progress. And you just said a moment ago, 4 years ago, we walked in with a deficit. This council, you included, me included, made this happen to where we're at today. We've done a wonderful job, and I believe this is part of the job.
The reason why we did that is so we didn't have to just take these things that come to us. Because I can assure you that if this was in the 4th Ward, by this time, there'd probably be 6 lawsuits already telling you, don't do this development. I mean, you wouldn't put it next to your house. I sure as heck wouldn't put it next to mine. I'm not saying don't sell the land. The land has always been for sale. It's been posted on our window up at the front. It's been on our website. I'm all in favor of us getting rid of this land. Let's just do the right thing with it. Let's not just take this because it's there. We don't have a financial situation that requires us to sell it. And we can have a special meeting and we can all debate whether or not we have to sell the land in order to be financially solvent. It's just not the case. There's no evidence that would show that.
You've had your soapbox.
Thank you.
I've had most of mine. We are, right now, as it's been brought out, dealing with the trucking company. They have pledged to put $1 million into taking care of berms, building walls, getting bushes where the line of sight from the properties next door, they will not be looking on trucks. Someone said in your area there, Mr. Nixon, that if this happens, we won't be able to see the lot anymore. Do you want to see that lot that's there right now? Is that what you're telling me? I mean, not you, but in general. You've got a tree line that's loaded with garbage. You've got gangs infested. You've got homeless that live there. And you've got tin cans all over the place. And these people are willing to come in and make it a beautiful place. They're willing to put in a park for Pinecrest, for example, to be used by everyone. I mean, the improvements that they're willing to make will, I don't know who in the right mind would do everything that they're doing to buy a piece of land.
Again, I'm all for business, I really am, and business would make, whether it's our city or any city, grow the right way. But we've also got to be concerned about the residents themselves. Well, first of all, also, because we live here. I know they're going to put that in, and that's a good thing. It'd be a great thing for them to develop that area. But again, remember us or whoever that lives in, whatever business is going in, just remember the people that live in those particular areas and neighborhoods and condos or wherever they live at. Because I know it's a tough decision to make, but you got to look. I think you have to look at both sides.
And I can assure you we do that. And we do that as you just heard right now. We do talk about it. But let's get back to the topic. And the topic is a resolution directing the sale of the property commonly known as 2529 East Piper Road R 15-14. That's a resolution we'd like to pass. Whether it sells or not is up to the city council, not to me. I don't vote on the city council. I'm not allowed to. I'd like to vote, but I'm not allowed to. So, given all that, the city council will decide whether it'll actually be sold or not. And I think here's a situation that we have to deal with. That land has been vacant and garbaged, and God knows what is on there underneath the gravel, for example. I don't know. The remediation of the property, for example. So there's a lot pending on this. And lastly, but surely, this is a city hall debt. That's worse, in my opinion, than if it were a land debt. Because we could declare bankruptcy on a land or something like that, some way to get out of it. We can't get out of it. We can't get out of the debt because you and I and the people that live in the city have guaranteed that debt. We have an opportunity, whether it's this company, we have the VA that wants to buy it. I have another offer on the table. I've had it for a long time. We had Palumbo come in and pay more than the value of the land. I agreed. I said, you're right. I probably wouldn't want that in my backyard. But we have, and what's proposed, and, they're going to use Piper Lane. Sure, they probably will. But is that the end of the world? They're going to have a road bond to maintain the road? The noise? Someone tell me, what grocery store, what food, what clothing store, what Kmart would go next to a trucking operation that's almost impossible to get to for daily commuters? What's that? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. I said we have to live there. Right, and how many people, we discussed this since March, you know how many people have been here to complain about living there? You and you. That's it. So I'm not suggesting nobody cares. I'm just telling you, the noise you will hear 24/7 is not the trucking company, it's Piper Lane. That's what it's Palatine Road. That's what you hear all the time. And as far as breathing fumes from a jet, I have never heard of that. Never. Contrary to she used to be an alderman, your manager, Darlene Allstead, one of the citizens gave me her letter. Much of it is just misimpressions or misunderstandings. And it wasn't a bad letter. I actually liked it. She's also a volunteer in our police department. So overall, I've got to get back to the topic. The topic is that we want to have a resolution as read twice already. Let's have a motion
I
to...
just clarify one more thing.
One more thing, yes.
And so this is just a resolution to be able to designate the land for sale and publish this in the
Right.
paper. It has
And
nothing to
try
do
to
with
market
anything
it.
else.
Right.
So it'll be published in the
That's all
paper.
this resolution is.
Okay.
All right, lastly, mostly, yes, sir.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Alderman Messer.
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson.
No.
Alderman Derwin.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Moving on to executive session. I don't have any, you want to talk about a couple of things? Yeah, I met this issue.
I don't have.
All right, we're done with that. Anyone else want to be executivized? No action to be taken. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for attending this evening.